You are listening to the Old School Movement podcast with Daz, Chris, and Steve. You understand?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Old School Movement in the house. How you guys doing, man? You right?
Yeah, man. Good. You?
Yeah, man. I'm fine. Just chilling with Smokey here, man.
Smokey and the Bandit.
But yes, ladies and gents, we're back with another episode of the Old School Movements podcast, and we're gonna bring a part 2 of our comic relief series. So guys, man, our last 10, man, like a lot of people were saying, yeah, they agreed with it, but apart from Scrappy Doo, someone said that Scrappy Doo, like, you should be bigging him up because he was the only one that wanted to fight.
Yeah,
which is true.
Running, he's the only one who had guts.
Yeah, I mean, there is that, but he's still annoying.
He was annoying.
He was annoying.
When you were used to them 70s ones, you know, and then it changed. It was the change, you know. Some people don't like change. You can't get used to
exactly.
it. Exactly.
Like you, Chris, the minute the music came on, it went
like,
Scrappy Dappy Doo. We're like, eh?
Nah.
Nah, mate. I'm sorry. I couldn't adapt. Like you said, like Chris says, I don't like change.
I like the old ones.
For real. Hear that.
There were loads of people saying, you've missed this one, you missed that one. So we've got to bring out a few more. Might even be some more after this lot, you never know.
Exactly. We've got another 10. So now our first, going from 10 down to number 1. Our first comic relief character. This cartoon was just like, you know, action-packed heroes.
Wicked cartoon.
You know, the Phoenix, the Firebird, you know, Battle of the Planets.
This dude ain't at number 10 because you think he's rubbish, is he? Is he at number 10 because you like he's one of the worst?
He's at number 10 because he was pointless to me. And like, but it is like he was literally there for comic relief. Like, if you ever saw comic relief on a tin, you probably see that this character on the side of it with it, because there's no other reason for him to be needed in this action-packed, you know, hero, you know, cartoon, manga style, like manga before we even knew manga was that. It's that kind of anime from Battle of the Planets. And we're talking a robot in the station. What was the robot's name?
If anyone who follows us remembers, I think our first ever podcast, which was on cartoons, we talk about this character then. Not many people remember his name, but his name was Seven Zark 7.
That's right.
And we spoke about him and how we didn't like him too much, but I kind of do like him. Like I can see why he's at number 10, and I'll explain why he was sort of put into it, because Battle of the Planets basically is a remake of a Japanese cartoon called Gatchaman, which was massively popular in Japan, and Americans wanted to buy it, bring it to America, but it was ultra violent and had a lot of profanities in it. So the only way they could do it, they couldn't redraw it or whatever. So the only way they could do it was shoot scenes to cut these scenes out. Yeah. So what they dreamt up of is, let's have these guys have it was an underwater base, wasn't it? What was it called?
Yeah.
Center Neptune.
That's right.
Under the water. So they made up this Center Neptune scene with Seven Zark 7, and they had him as like the comic relief, and also like the voiceover throughout the whole cartoon. He sort of done voiceovers, and he gathered information and fed it back to G-Force while they were on their little missions and stuff. So I kind of see how it works. They used him to tie a story which was cut to shreds because all the violence had been cut out of it.
Yeah.
He's very
what a
R2D2 looking, isn't he?
Exactly.
With a cape. R2D2 with arms.
This is another reason I kind of liked him.
And antennas.
And little antennas. Yeah, he used to fly about with his cape, and his cape used to flap. That's right. He had his own comic relief. Do you remember he had a robot dog?
I was about to say that. Thinking the same thing I'm thinking. What's going on? I was just about to say that. I was going to ask you, did he have a comic relief?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
He was blatantly the whole comic relief to the show, but he had his own little comic relief. In One Rover One was the name of the dog.
And he used to say, One Rover One. Yes.
And his tail used to go around like Muttley's, and he used to be able to, he could fly around the Neptune place as well.
That's right. That's right. And had some really like quirky music.
But that's what I kind of like. I liked him because he looked like R2. You know, I think loads of loads of spin-off cartoons after 77 tried to capitalize on those two characters from Star Wars, and everyone would try to make their version of
something similar, but not.
Yeah.
But they mixed them both into this character, which is because he sounded like 3PO, had that sort of campy. The way he chatted was like 3PO, but he looks like R2, but with arms,
R2 with a cape.
Like
Yeah,
with
arms with a
cape.
cape.
Do you remember sometimes he used to wear like a knitted tank top with a 7 on it?
I do.
And I used to like that. That of him in it. He looked like a college football top with a 7.
Yeah.
And they'd put it on him. I used to think, So
yeah.
I liked him, but not. And another reason I liked him, I was at the age when we watched Battle of the Planets. I was at the age where I didn't really realize he was comic relief, and I didn't really. It was just a cartoon, and
I think it stood out for me as a kid. I spotted that. I was like, this is different to what I'm watching. But I noticed sometimes the characters would come into where he was, and the drawings were different. They were different. They were totally different when you was watching the show. Yeah, and I think this feels different.
It is different. It's totally different. So they only made. There's only I think say 3 stills that they've got in that Center Neptune with G-Force in it. So they will be the same shots through every series where they show you them all together. They've only got like the one shot. And then if you remember as well, he used to talk to him through a screen. So all they had to do was just keep changing the image on the screen rather than redraw the whole thing. Just redraw the screen, and then he's automatically changing. That's how they kept the communication as though he was speaking to him, because they couldn't keep drawing more cells. Like, they had what they had all cut up. But yeah, you were right. It did look different. It was a totally different sort of little style of drawing when they were together, like. And then when they were away, it went back to the good-looking Japanese manga style.
I love that cartoon.
I love the cartoon, man.
Remember at the beginning, in their leisure time, they'd be like playing on the drums, playing table tennis or guitar, and it's just proper chilling. Yeah, love Battle of the Planets.
Another good thing as well is the voice guy. The voice of Seven's Arc 7 was also the same voice as Key-Up, who was like the other character. Remember, like the young kid. He'd done that. Yeah, which now I'm reading. That was like an early trying to get sort of Tourette's and tics into cartoons to make kids aware of people like ticking and having noises. Yeah, which
I always felt that he was really annoying, that character.
Like, I liked Key-Up, I
didn't mind him,
because he had his own vehicle. Because he was part of the crew. He had his own vehicle. I think he had a bike or something.
Yeah, he did.
And I thought, he's included.
Yeah, he's included.
I liked it. Yeah.
But anyway, the voice character for him is a guy called Angus Young, but he's better known as Alan Young. I think he's British born, moved to Canada, moved to America back in like the golden days. I think he had his own like comedy radio show that hit massive in America. I think it went like nationwide in America, so he's quite well known. But he also done the voice of Scrooge McDuck for most of the DuckTales between 87 and 90. He was also the Scrooge for the Mickey's Christmas Carol, the Farmer Smurf in the Smurfs, and some characters in the new Scooby-Doo
Farmer
show.
Smurf.
He was a Farmer Smurf, and he was that character he played as well. Also played some voices in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but you'd know him to look at as the man out of what we spoke about recently is Mr. Ed. You know that
he's the horse.
No, he's the owner. He's the owner of Mr. Ed. That guy who I think he's the only one who talks to Mr. Ed, isn't he? The only guy who talks to Mr. Ed.
Okay.
He is the voice of Seven's Arc 7 and Key-Up.
Okay.
That's quite mad, isn't it? Considering we were talking about Ed in recent podcasts.
That's right. Yeah. Damn. So I just had a swig of my blue juice. You guys see this? This is like something from
Star Wars juice
from Tatooine.
Like blue milk. What is that? Bubblegum or something, or blue?
It's lemonade raspberry.
Ah, okay.
Raspberry lemonade. Yeah, raspberry lemonade.
And it's blue.
I expect that to be like a pinky reddy.
Hey,
I expect that to be like dark red purpley.
Why? Well, think back to your childhood. Mr. Freeze raspberry was this color.
It did all used to be blue. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue ice pole was raspberry.
Yeah. Raspberries have always been in our life as blue, man.
Yeah, that was one of the
artificial
favorite colours.
You know what?
Artificial raspberries.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We grew up with
I didn't realise that it was raspberry. Like sometimes you see the blue. Yeah, I want a blue one.
That's the raspberry.
Really, I didn't even realise. Damn.
They were one of the best ones. Them and the Cokes are the best too.
Yeah.
One or a Coke one.
Yeah.
Or a grape one.
Grape ones were hard to find, but they were good.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a grape one.
Maybe you get the fat ones as the great ones, and big big fat
Yeah, the
ones.
fat ones, the icebreaker great
Yeah,
ones.
the icebreakers,
They
or
were
the Buck
good.
Rogers ones.
Yeah. But
Talk about sidetracked.
I was gonna do a whole show on ice poles.
we've already done that. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Oh yeah, refreshing.
But now to a character that we all know that Stacks hates at number 9.
I think most people do.
Yeah,
No,
most people
He should have
do.
come in before this.
It's
Dark
He
7.
should have come in as 10. He should have come in as 10.
because we just want to build to it. It's like, because for me, Zark
We couldn't have
7,
started, yeah.
yeah,
We
Zark
couldn't have started
7
it,
is
so.
just there because he was, for me, as I said, I noticed he was comic relief from young, so I didn't like him at all. But this guy, he was just, the thing about it, when we knew this film was coming out, we didn't see he wasn't in none of the trailers or anything.
He was like surprised.
No,
You know,
Not in a good
a
way.
horrible surprise as well.
Not in a good way.
like in the early trailers, didn't see him, but coming closer to it, you saw a bit him walking. Go, you would say people's gonna die, and he thought, okay, what the hell? What am I looking at this? What am I looking
Roger
at?
Rabbit or something? Well, I'm watching
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit.
And then but
Whose idea was it to put that voice on it, or that voice on them?
well, I don't
Mr.
know.
Lucas, and not our host, Mr. Lucas, the other Mr.
Yeah,
Lucas.
not me. Yeah, George Lucas. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Jar Jar Binks here. And
If
now,
you ain't guessed already, yeah.
you know,
Jar Jar Binks.
we've put him in. We've put him in because listeners know how much we like Star Wars, but this guy,
He's hated by enough.
his name ain't down. He ain't coming in the Star Wars arena no more.
Nah,
man.
he
It's
ain't
just-
coming in,
and
mate.
it's not his fault. It's not the actor's fault. It's that's how he's cast. That's what they wanted, but it didn't work. Like, look, in our last podcast, we already announced that R2 and 3PO were the top comic relief, and they're in Star Wars. They're in every Star Wars film. So why are you adding on comic relief on top of comic
Why
relief?
do you need extra?
Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've already got the guys you need.
Yeah.
They can handle it. No one's bored of them. No one's complained about them.
No one's complaining.
You know what I mean? So
Unless
why
your
bring
film's that weak and you feel like you need 2 lots of comic relief to keep audience happy,
Exactly.
then
Well,
there's no reason.
let's face it, they were weak. Those versions were. Weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Definitely, they were.
But yeah, so Jar Jar Binks, ladies and gentlemen, his whole people were like it was like a new version of the Ewoks, yeah.
It was
people-
the Gangans, aren't they?
The Gargans or Gungans, yeah, Gungans.
The
The Dungardans.
People didn't like the Dungargans.
The Dungargans.
The Dungargans,
Which they definitely weren't. They were shit.
Nah, they weren't no Dungargans, man. They weren't the Gungans. The Gungans.
Gungans.
They
I heard that
yeah.
George Lucas watched the whole Goofy Disney film and thought, I want a character like that in Star Wars. That's what
That
I
makes
heard.
perfect sense.
That's
That
where I
makes-
heard it came from. And I
that makes
also heard that
perfect sense.
when he was thinking about doing this, chatting with one of his mates at the time, Mr. Michael Jackson, he was like, I want to play this. I want to be that character. And
I heard something like that.
he wanted to play it, but it got turned down when he said, you can do it, but we're going to CGI it at the end of the day. And he's like, no, I want to play it in prosthetics. I want full makeup, and I'm going to be that character. And you're going to love it. And,
and I love that, George. George, please maybe be a character.
Please,
I would love that. I want a lightsaber. I want a glitter lightsaber, a glittered one, a glittered handle, George.
I can wear my
Glittered
glove
handle.
and match my glove.
Yeah. I'll be just like Luke, but my glove will be glittered, George. But Chris,
He
that
was all
makes
on board.
total
He was
sense.
all
The
on
whole
board with it.
Goofy, the
Yeah.
whole Goofy and
It's
Michael
well
Jackson
goofy.
combination makes total sense of Jar Jar Binks. Damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy, isn't it?
For real. Because what I look, as much as I didn't like Jar Jar Binks, it was George Lucas. For me, it was George Lucas showing CGI at its peak. Like this character wasn't a real character. He was
He
computer
was the
generated,
first
and
computer
he's
just
generated supporting character, first
and
ever.
he's interacting
There's no
on the
problem
screen.
with that.
Yeah, I've got no problem with the
However,
technology, but the actual character.
that was the
character
problem.
and the voicing
Yeah,
of those characters is I'm not feeling it at all.
Yeah,
I said that he got considered as it could be a racist character at some point.
yeah,
People
it was a
look at him.
mistake. It was a mistake, George
yeah.
Lucas.
But what I
made.
also heard as well that he was going to be after the release of the first one, like he got massive backlash for the character after the release of the first of the new remakes. So what the plan was that that Jar Jar Binks was gonna be a spy for Palpatine. So he was gonna have a major role through all 3 films, and they had to totally sort of rechange the storyline. Because if you watch, like in the second film, he's in it for 10 minutes. In the last film, he's in it for I think seconds on screen, where he's got quite a biggish part, and it was building up to him.
One where he's like a senator or something. He's in the Senate.
He is of the Gungagan, the Gundagan.
Yeah,
the Dangagan.
The Dangagan. The Star Wars.
Old Pinchers when he's doing his
Me brethren, Anakin. It was a wrong character on so many levels, and it was but the top level of it was that it was irritating.
Yeah. Well irritating.
I didn't want to see him on the screen at all. You know, even C-3PO didn't like him. And
Actually,
you know what I mean? As you say, I'm coming back to this goofy thing you're saying. He is so goofy, like, because he looked like his features and looks were so exaggerated. He looked like a cartoon was in a film, like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
it
reminded me of Roger Rabbit or Goofy.
It looked like they got a cartoon character and put it in a Star Wars film, and that's why it didn't make. Do you know
what I mean? The guy who did play him though was told by Lucas for hours, go and watch Buster Keaton. And if you imagine now watching Buster Keaton, how he used to, like, you know, the way he walked and he'd spin around, like, you know, the Charlie Chaplin clumsiness, you can really see that in it. But he tried to add it in with martial arts, and he's like, no, I don't want him as a fighter. I want him as a Buster Keaton.
Clumsy.
But the actor they used was trained martial artist, but he come from the stage Stomp, you know, that Stomp stage show where they bang on the drums and do the flips, and he was someone seen out of that. I think that's where
Ahmed Best.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
So he worked in the production of that, which Lucas picked him up from that. But yeah, I think he tried to add some martial art moves and flips, and he's like, no, I just want him to go away and watch Buster Keaton. That's how I want him to act. And imagine Goofy. Like, you can see that crazy in it, man. You can see it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
The only good thing was, like you say earlier, like it was for CGI at the time, it was so good. Like he was the first computer-generated supporting character in a live-action film, like as a support, like a major character, and it didn't feel like it felt sort of normal watching it.
Yeah.
So I think it did work, as in mixing live with the CGI, but just the character itself was rubbish.
Yeah. Old Ahmed, he did get a bit of stick for being that character too, which is pretty sad. But then he got his own series, like a Star Wars game show, like last year sometime.
That looked alright.
Yeah, Jedi Test or something.
Like Jedi School or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a clip of it online and thought, you know what, I've got to try and Google that and watch that.
I never got to see it.
It looked quite good, but I forgot about that until you just said it. It was him dressed up as a Jedi, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, that's right.
He looked better as a Jedi.
Good for him, you know what I mean? In the end, he got the part. You know,
he got something.
You can't blame him for...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just it's the person that designed the character.
Yeah, if someone says you're going to be a main character in a new Star Wars movie...
And he knew all along that he's only a visual aid for the actors. You know, they were going to use his movements, but apart from that, it's an overlay of a cartoon character, isn't it?
Yeah,
Roger
terrible
Rabbit.
cartoon character. So, Ahmed, big up. You got your Jedi robe on and you're doing games.
Gonna watch that. Gonna look for that.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But Watto should have been a comic relief of the start of those prequels.
He suited Star Wars more again because was he a puppet or CGI? Puppet.
He was CGI.
Oh, he was. He looked good.
But he was cocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
he suited Star Wars.
He was cocky and he knew his stuff. You couldn't fool him, really.
Yeah. Jedi chick don't work on me. Only money. So Jar Jar Binks, in the bin you go.
In the bin.
In that rubbish bin. I want to see the trash van drive away. I want to make sure it's gone.
Yeah, innit?
Your tongue hanging out, dragging along the
Never
floor.
to be coming back.
Need the tongue hanging out. Get in the bin. Jar Jar.
Who we got next?
Yeah,
Who
our
do we
next
bring in
one.
next?
Our next one is like, this one is again like Seven Sarks 7. This was, I noticed that this ain't part of the cartoon. This is just here for some reason, and it's meant to entertain me, but it's not entertaining me. I want to see action, and similar to the character we're going to talk about now. Stacks probably don't even know the character we're going to talk about now, but because I vaguely remember it, but I remember it being irritating.
If we said his name, you still wouldn't have a clue.
Still wouldn't have a clue.
What's his name?
Scott Tracker.
Scott Tracker.
And his little sidekick, T-Bob.
What?
T-Bob.
It's the name.
T-Bob. Scott Tracker and T-Bob. Now, Scott Tracker is the son of the main guy, Matt Tracker of this cartoon. And this guy had a vehicle that would fly, and the villains had vehicles that fly. So you had Transformers come out and they're robots in disguise. But this cartoon now was like guys with vehicles in disguise. So a bike's a helicopter, a plane's a helicopter, a car flies, a speedboat's a spaceship, on and on and on. And this was Mask.
Mask was wicked.
Yes.
Mask
I don't
was
remember
good.
any comic relief in Mask.
No, exactly. It was the kid.
It was
the
just
kid
a
again.
serious cartoon.
With comic relief.
When he always back
he was
at
always,
base somewhere.
He was always back at, no, he used to ride off on his little robot thing on T-Bob.
Turned into a motorbike. I remember it turned into a little motorbike.
Yeah, that was his gadget. Like when the credits started, Mass Crusaders working overtime, fighting crime. When that would come on, you'd see a clip of the kid on that thing. It's like he rode that head on the Terrorhawks with his arms. Nick the Terrorhawks, painted that white, put some arms on the side, and just said, "Fuck it, Dad's got a gadget. I've got one now."
He made it. Apparently, he made it himself.
Exactly. There you go.
Part of Mask,
And it just didn't work for me. Again, I said I noticed it. It didn't fit the cartoon.
No. It was like the Scrappy Doo. It tried to bring in the younger audience, I think, or tried to something for them as well as.
But we are the younger audience.
Yeah, but younger than us. Younger than us, maybe. I don't know, because I weren't interested in it. We like the action part and the Mask people. You know,
Mask
the rest
always
of them.
had action. I don't remember any comic relief in Mask.
Yeah, you will if you saw it.
I think all these things were there subliminally. Yeah.
You don't
to make us not notice. So you don't, so it breaks up because you saw a ship flying, something blown up, someone getting shot, but then you see that and that desensitizes you, and then you go back to what you're seeing. Do you know what I mean? Rather than seeing just explosion.
Armageddon all the time.
Armageddon, they worked it out every 3 scenes. Give them something to bring them back to normal.
Yeah.
That's why we're not messed up. That's why our generation's not messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his name again?
T-Bob was the actual robot, which was the sidekick of Scott Tracker. With both together were like the just the comic relief.
Oh,
of the show,
yeah. Now I've seen it.
Yeah. If you remember, the only thing I sort of remember, I don't remember much how they used to get involved. I know he wasn't allowed to be parked because he was young, so that's why I thought he stayed at base. And also as well that he was voiced by a guy called Brendan Thicke. He was the son of one of the actors out of the TV show Growing Pains, and he's also the brother of Robin Thicke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the voice of the little boy Scott Tracker. Robin Thicke's brother, who also voiced Dennis the Menace in the US American Dennis the Menace cartoons. Yeah,
interesting.
Do you remember what Mars stood for?
Yeah, we mentioned it in our first podcast. Mobile Armored Strike Command. That's what they were, like you say, like helicopter into
Command of a K.
Yes, Command of a K. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, how else would you spell Command?
Strike. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Teaching kids, they teach kids stuff.
And they thought what was he? The Venom was the other lot, wasn't it? The vicious evil network of mayhem.
Yes, that's
who they
right.
used to fight.
That's right.
They were good. Right. Toys were wicked. Cartoon was good. They had the perfect little mix master, didn't it?
Yeah.
And
hopefully, there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, I was about to say. Hopefully, there's been recent talk again. Apparently they started writing it in 2020, so now they are saying we are getting close to having a look at doing something with Mask. Same with Thundercats as well, which would be exciting.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on, man. Now number seven. This character now. It's like, this film it's a sports film. It's a story of, the man from nowhere being heavyweight champion of the world. But behind him is rags to riches story. But behind him, there's always got to be someone to try and throw a spanner in the works, to try and bring you back down to where you were from.
Straight back down.
Straight back down, And on top of it, it's his brother-in-law, and he's always around.
Brother-in-law.
It's irritating him. Just reminding him who he is. And we're talking about Paulie from the Rocky series.
Paulie Panino.
Yeah.
He started off just as his girlfriend's brother. In the first. When did they get married? In the second Rocky? Or was it in the first Rocky?
Yeah, I think Rocky 2.
Yeah, I think it might be Rocky 2. He started off as like the annoying brother of the girlfriend, in it, that was just always about whenever he wanted to be alone with Adrian. Whenever he wanted to be about.
You were like the Rocky connoisseurs and fans, so I should ask you, like, was he annoying?
Who? Paulie?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
For me, he was annoying because sometimes I used to think, why? To me, he reminded me of Wimpy from Popeye cartoons.
Yes. He would play that character wicked.
He dressed like he wore that hat, the grey jacket. He just looked like Wimpy, but alcoholic Wimpy.
An alcoholic,
and a Wimpy and a bottle of Thunderbirds. Like, it's like he was just a different character. But like I said, he always brought Rocky back down to earth. When Rocky thought he was big time, Paulie would always tell him, you know what I mean? You ain't nothing, you ain't nothing. But Paulie was super good there. Like, do you remember like in Rocky 3 when he just hates, everywhere he's going, at the beginning of Rocky 3, he sees the pinball machine. Everywhere is Rocky, there, lights, and he throws his alcohol, his whiskey at the pinball machine, and Rocky has to bail him out, and he's just, and then I thought, you ungrateful little shit. You know what I mean? This Rocky guy is from the same background as you. He's made it. Support
He's carried him. He's carried him through three films.
He's carried him through 3 films.
Yeah. It even made you his trainer. Do you know? You could be ringside.
Sorted him out proper.
And you're still dashing gold watches back at him. Yeah. So Paulie. But the comic relief side comes with all the wisecracks, and he
had some good one-liners and some
he had a couple. He had a couple one-liners. He was a proper like Alf Garnett dude as well. Proper
he was, man.
Philadelphian Alf Garnett, like
Alf Garnett Wimpy.
Alf Garnett Wimpy, dude. Like, so racist Wimpy, dude. But what could you do?
He definitely didn't like Russians, did he?
He didn't like anyone.
He didn't like anyone. That's true. But I kind of like the way his character evolved over the four Rockies, though, because he was really annoying probably for the first 3, but by the time he's back in Rocky's corner in Rocky 4 when he's fighting Drago, you are sort of like, you go on, your family, go on, man, like help him out. Like,
he gave him advice, like, you know that bit when Rocky's like sitting down, he goes, "There's 3 of them out there." Hit the one in the middle.
In the middle, I love that. Love that bit.
Hit the one.
Hit the one in the middle. That bit's one of my best scenes. I love that bit, man. I love that bit.
But he was a maniac old dude. After all those millions, he still weren't happy. He still weren't happy.
Even after the robot.
Even after his robot.
Yeah, happy birthday, Polly. You know what I mean? That robot no one else has got. It's still ain't grateful.
That was
still weren't happy.
You know what I mean? So yeah, Paulie.
But I think he was, as a character, and as how Burt Young played him. You know, I think he played him good, because you don't like him in them first few films, man. He's like you say, he's annoying. It's like, But he has got some good one-liners.
Did you guys also recognize him? And I don't know if you guys saw this film. Yeah, at the second Amityville movie, when the house is possessed with the family, and the boy kills his family.
I do remember it.
But he's the dad. He's the dad in that.
Oh, really?
The boy gets possessed, gets a shotgun, because the murder happened before in that house.
Yeah.
Killed, and he's the dad, and that's the only other thing I've seen.
You don't see him in much. I know he did do another film with Adrian, with Talia Shire.
Yeah.
I know he's done another film with her. They've worked together, but I've never seen him in anything else.
Yeah, but he was in that.
Must have seen that then.
he's the kind of guy you probably, if you watch enough episodes of Quincy, you see
probably
it.
pop up
somewhere.
Kojak or something, you know, he's that kind of guy. It would have been in something like that.
He'd pop up into the background of one of them,
yeah,
Columbo or something.
That would have been his era, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy.
5-0 or something.
Yeah. Burt Young.
You know?
But yeah, Burt Young, you're in our comic relief. Now, the next character, again, this series was the series. We've mentioned this series before. We stay up late at night to watch it because we were fascinated by humans disguised as lizards.
It was different.
Different, you know, and that was V. You know, these lizards come down to take over and take our resources, and they hated us. But a couple didn't. This character was like friendly comic relief for this program. You know, you had to avoid the rat eating and the budgie munching, and this guy was to break it down. He even fell in love with a human, and he later on was in one of the most scariest franchise movies, which was what, Stax?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
He was in Nightmare on Elm Street, ladies and gentlemen. And we're talking about Willie from V, played by Robert Englund, who's also Freddy Krueger. Fuckers. So, yeah, Willie from V. Now, he was a likable character.
He was,
For me, he's not an irritating. He wasn't an irritating character.
He was one of the likable characters in the show. Because he, like you say, he was the only sort of comic relief in it. 'Cause it was set as a serious show, wasn't it? There weren't many laughs in it.
They were taking over Earth.
But he was set as like a barman. So I always used to see, like, you know, when the show had a big dramatic bit, then it'd cut away to a bar scene with him in it, and it'd be like watching a sci-fi version of Cheers for 20 seconds or whatever, you know, that scene. Yeah. And it'd bring you down from whatever, like the budgie munching or whatever you've just witnessed. He did have input. I can remember, I think it might be in the first one or early on in one. I remember someone getting frozen. They were in somewhere getting frozen, a human, but because he was a lizard, he could go in. So he went in, and they showed, like, he proved, like, I'm on your side, I help you guys, and that's, I think they give him a job in a bar or something.
Good character. Yeah, Willie was a good character.
He had his odd little story as well, didn't he? Like, he had these little stories where he played an important part helping the humans. So I liked him.
Yeah. He broke it down. It was that lovable character. You know, he was that dumb character who wanted to be human and learn the human way, and that was the comic relief. He weren't cracking jokes. It was his just
behavior
and
his
behavior.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's on a mission to kill. He's like a resistance or lizard, but he's like, I just want to move to human women and then, you know, smoke weed. I was like, I want to try human stuff. You know what I mean? He was on it.
Move to human women. Did that come out? Did we stuff? I'm sure we saw him in that before.
Of course
Kruger.
we did.
You did, didn't it? That come out a year or two before? Or,
Yeah. We didn't know. We just know he was him. But and when we found out it was him, it was like you could see
it. Yeah. I remember there was a point after watching Elm Street that you think that's the geezer out of V, or you find out and you're like, I can see him, man. I can see it. It's Willie out of V.
Really out of V, mate.
It's the nose.
That's it.
Even with the prosthetics of Freddy Krueger, it's still Willie out of V.
Because you got to remember, in V, everybody was macho. Everyone was leather jacket, you know, eye squinting, shooting lizard. They're like rolling, you know, explosion. And Willie was just like
your normal
skinny little nerd, isn't it?
Just meek, just like what's going, yeah.
He's good. He was good comic relief. We like Willie.
Hold on, mate. That sounds really funny.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
edit
that.
Character.
You're gonna have to edit that.
Like he didn't wear a space helmet. Fucking hell.
I like me wearing a space helmet.
No, just stop. We like Robert Englund's character in V called Willie.
Yeah, that's
William, yeah. We like William in V. So yeah, now our fifth comic relief character. This one now is a kind of a curveball because it's not in the cartoon, it's not in the film, it's not in the TV series. It's in a kids' TV show, a kids' TV
that you'd have
program
that you'd have to watch some of those cartoons.
So like
to watch like
Saturday morning entertainment. You know, you have a presenter. You know, he presents a show. She presents a show. You know, they have guests, they have phone-ins, they have competitions, and they have cartoons. But as things progressed in the coming to the mid 80s, there was comic relief characters with the presenters. There was puppets. There was aliens. There was gophers, and there's rats. You know, so all puppets though. There's no animals were harmed in these shows, all aliens. And so yeah, we're gonna start with Get Fresh. Now Get Fresh with Gaz Top, the guy with the big peacock hairstyle,
the big quiff,
big peacock quiff. And that's where you'd catch the Centurions. That was where we'd find the program Centurions in their spaceship. But in between that, you had a comic relief character on the show, and that was Gilbert the alien. Man.
Gilbert.
You could tell he was straight out of Spitting Image cupboard, and just painted him green and said, "Yep." Do you know what I mean?
He was that sort of look to him, didn't he? He had that Spitting
straight
Image.
out of the Spitting Image cupboard.
Whereas the rest were hand puppets. This was a nice big old Spitting Image.
Big latex.
Yeah. That's it. Latex is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Did you like him, Gilbert?
Gilbert was different because I knew it was from the Spitting Image stable. It was like, you know, he was all right. Because I was watching this to watch Centurions. Centurions was my show. So he
was on that one as well, wasn't it?
No, Pole Position was on the other channel.
On BBC.
Yeah.
You're flicking between the two.
Yeah, you are flicking.
Yeah, you get lost. You don't care what you're watching. You're
saying what time's Pole Position on or what time's Centurions on. Yeah. It's either Gordon the Gopher and Phillips Gopher, was Gaz Top and Gilbert. And for me, it's Gaz Top and Gilbert.
I like Gilbert because he was a bit different. He weren't. Most of these other ones, they were squeaked or they were sooty. You know, they didn't make a noise. And this one spoke, and he was quite rude. Like he was quite like, you know, down with the street kids, I'm going to say, sort of thing. You know, he was...
And snot coming out of his nose every
Loads of snot. It was different to any other puppet you'd seen as a presenter's helper on one of these sort of shows.
Presenter's helper, yeah.
He had that sort of attraction sort of thing. I didn't care that he was an alien and they made out they lived in a spaceship that went to all these towns that all seemed to be up north.
It was like an alien Roland Rat. It was Roland Rat was
big snotty alien Roland Rat.
You know. Yeah. As you were saying, they flew into different towns each episode, right?
Yeah, but only it was a Tyne Tees show. It was made, you know, Tyne Tees area, and they stuck to that area. They never come down south. Yeah. You never found them in our local park. They didn't come to the ITV regions. You know what I mean? They stuck to the Tyne Tees, the Angular, HTV or whatever they were. And I felt hard done by, so I wanted them to come to our local park and land that spaceship and see Gilbert.
We never saw any of that stuff.
No, we never saw any of that.
No.
They thought, oh, you've got television centre and all that stuff there permanently, so we're going to give the rest of the country a try. But it weren't like that. We didn't get any goodness and spaceships coming to the park.
It's true. But Gilbert, we didn't see no legs. It was always waist up, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like our Spitting Image.
But actually, no, on the slide, they would do like a legs thing.
A down shot of some feet or something.
But it would be like him running away or something, so you wouldn't really...
Yeah. It was a slimy character.
He was a slimy one. He got his own spin-off shows as well.
That's what I was gonna say. I think I remember
spin-offs. There was one that I sort of remember, another sort of kid spin-off called Gilbert's Fridge, and it was like a bit like a chat show. I think they'd have some. It was him and the girl out of Get Fresh. They'd done it together. And they used to have guests on and whatnot. But there's another one that I didn't really know about. It was in the 90s, exactly 1990, and it's called Gilbert's Late. And it was a late night, adult-y sort of chat thing or something or other, which I don't know about. I wouldn't mind looking into that because that could be quite funny. But apparently that only lasted a few episodes. But that was, again, these are all Tyne Tees productions. So maybe they didn't filter down to our ITV region, our local region.
It's probably on around that James Whale time. You know,
yes, exactly that. That's what I'm thinking. I'm imagining it from that era. Exactly that.
Yeah, so let's move on to BBC One now. So, you know, we had Gilbert on ITV, and you know, on the other channel we had Gordon the Gopher.
He was like a spin-off from, because you had the broom cupboard after school, didn't you, with Philip Schofield when he was in his younger days, and he had the Gopher there. But then the Gopher ended up somehow, I suppose it followed Philip because he went to, was it Going Live? Was it Going Live?
Yeah,
Live and Kicking, Going Live, one of them sort of ones. Anyway, he went to that with Sarah Green Saturday morning, and they just sort of inherited. I think he just followed him. The Gopher followed Philip Schofield around.
So who had Ed the Duck then? Who was Ed
the Duck?
Andy
was
Crane.
Andy Crane. When he left the broom cupboard, they brought in Andy Crane and they replaced it with Ed the Duck, which
I preferred Ed the Duck over the Gopher.
They both annoyed me because the one used to squeak. The gopher was a squeaky one, wasn't it? Just used to squeak. Yeah. Hey, that one annoyed me. They annoyed me. It's a squeaky one, man.
I didn't mind either of them.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our comic relief inside children's Saturday entertainment show. You got Chris has done it again. When I round something off, he comes in with something. Go on.
I was just gonna say, I remember a bit with Gordon and the Gopher once when they were on, must have been Live and Kicking or Going Live Again, and they had Adamant on, and Adamant really warmed to the character in real life, and he ended up being like his pen pal, and he used to write letters to Gordon the Gopher. And do you remember Gordon the Gopher had like a biker's leather jacket?
Yeah. I think I remember him being in an Adamant suit.
That was handmade by Adamant as a gift.
No way.
He stitched and made this little leather jacket, and he proper befriended Gordon as a proper character. Like,
wow. Did he when he made him the jacket? Yeah, did he write him a letter saying, "Don't you ever take off that jacket"?
I think he must have, because he had it. I remember him wearing that jacket for loads of episodes of whatever he was in at the time. He always had that little leather biker jacket on.
Like Terminator 2 jacket.
Like a Terminator 2 jacket.
Fucking hell.
Oh, do you remember there was a parody of him as well with Brian Connolly done Larry the Loafer?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I used
It's
to
a puppet. It's a puppet.
That's where that comes from. That's where that comes from. It's a puppet.
That's right.
The famous catchphrase. I used to like Brian Connolly.
Done. All right, let's go into our next comic relief character. Now this one again, like, you know, these are the days when you got one telly in the house, so you're watching whatever's coming on. You know, from I don't know, TV didn't have breakfast TV yet, kind of coming in. So from that girl playing noughts and crosses with the clown to to Police 5, you're watching telly.
With the Thames Bridge opening.
Yeah. And you're going to watch this show because you got into soap operas just magnetized you because you were watching TV.
They've always been
and
there.
Back in the days, you had so many, from the American ones to the UK ones, but the UK ones were this is before EastEnders times. You know what I mean? And this character, again, I noticed like this guy. This guy's kind of funny. Everyone's serious in this program, but when this guy's come on, there's a little giggle, there's a little light moment, and that's Benny from Crossroads.
Oh my God, yes.
Benny was a character, man.
Benny
was good.
Now Benny, always with his green hat,
green willy hat,
and his dungarees.
Everyone knows them hats as a Benny hat now, isn't it?
Yeah, a Benny hat. It's a Benny hat. Was he the handyman at Crossroads?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was the Crossroads caretaker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in it from 75 to right up to 88, man. He was in it for more or less the whole running, and he was like, I'm gonna say, like the sort of simple-minded handyman who used to do the jobs around the place. But I think he used to be played by Paul Henry, which is a wicked actor.
That's right.
Man.
Yeah.
You see him in some other things now, and you think, man, I'm sure
that's
Benny, man. Yeah, he's a wicked actor.
What else has he been in? I've never seen him in anything else.
Yeah, he's been. Well, off the top of my head, I can't think, but I have seen him in stuff, and more recent, like within the last probably 10 years. So he looks different, but you can see that Benny's still there.
Benny was the kind of character that I'll say, like, as a kid, you don't really care about soap operas, but it's something about when Benny come on the screen. You know, it's going to be a little giggle game.
You start watching it a bit. Yeah,
you start watching it. You know, and he's just a character. Because when I think of Crossroads, I would automatically think of Benny. I don't know anybody else's name.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't even know what the whole film's about. The program's about. It's just Benny.
Yeah. Benny, it was Benny's show.
I'm serious, like, because my mum used to watch it all the time, and it was like, you know, when it starts, it's just so dry. Like, I'm gonna go and play with my cards. But then, like,
it's a weird one.
I could just say, my mum said, "Oh, where's Benny? How comes he ain't?" What?
An episode without Benny is a dry episode.
It was crap. It would be boring without Benny, man. It would be.
An episode without Benny ain't a good episode.
He got written out in the end. Like, I think it ended in 88, but I think they sort of wrote him out of the show beginning of 88, and he was last seen going off to get a spanner. Never seen again.
Do you know what?
Last scene, gone off to get a spanner, never seen again.
They didn't even kill him off like properly.
No. You can't kill off Benny.
Can't kill off Benny.
Can't kill off Benny, man.
But I remember as well. There's something that reminds me of Louis Ferrigo and the Hulk.
The Hulk.
I'm sure that when you wound Benny up, like he lost it.
He's done a Benny, and then in the 90s, people would say he done a Benny.
That's where that saying come from.
Really?
Yeah, I remember him getting vexed and shouting.
Yeah.
And his hat stayed on. He was
hat stayed on.
Red in the face, red as a beetroot.
He was having a Benny.
Vexed. Yeah, he's having a Benny, mate. Benny from Crossroads, mate.
I could only remember, like you say, you can't remember many characters. I remember one character other than Benny, because I think he used to fancy her, and that was Miss Diane. He used to mention.
That name's familiar.
Yes, I remember that.
Time. And I can remember one bit because he had like a weird.
Was she like the manager?
I think she was the manager or worked behind the. Yeah, she was like, must have been the manager, blonde-haired one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure her husband worked in the motel as well, but she couldn't do. I think she felt sorry for him, but he fancied him. I remember one bit. There was a bit where he's like, me and Miss Diane went to see a film about a big fish that do keep eating people. I sort of remember that bit. Obviously they went to see Jaws, right? Like, but he had that. I don't know. The way he spoke was a bit like Yoda-ish, wasn't it? You know,
I don't remember how he spoke.
I know.
I don't remember how he spoke.
I can't remember how he.
Yeah, I think his words used to get muddled up a bit. And now looking back on it, it's it's only when you grow up you think he's a normal. Obviously, he's playing someone with a disability, in it, and it's like. He made it quite big as being Benny, playing someone with a disability. And now I just feel like I don't know if that sort of sits well, if you know what I mean. But I think that's more now because I'm older. I think it's some sort of autism, I think.
Yeah.
And the anger issue.
Some kind of, learning.
Maybe a bipolar or but in them days, you didn't know about these things. Yeah, you didn't know about these things in them days. You were just a bit crazy, weren't you? They were a bit mad, or, the naughty kid at school. Nowadays he's labelled and you know exactly what they are, so I think now I do look back at it and I feel a bit sorry that he played a character like that, but I think that's just because the way we live and everything's got to be politically correct now, isn't it? Which is maybe why they said we need to get you out not get you out, but maybe why they let him go and he went off to get his spanner and was never seen again.
Yeah, but you can look at it in two ways. Like, maybe it's a good thing having that character so people know these people are in the world. But
then a lot of people say that then why don't you use someone with that disability to portray themselves? There's got to be actors. There is. Well,
remember, we're talking about the 80s where people used to back up and go, "Mammy."
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're talking the days of sickness and in health or whatever they were.
So,
anything went, didn't it, in them days?
Times have changed.
Have they?
That's why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have they? But in some ways, looking at that now, it doesn't seem right to me. Sort of in a way, it seems a bit odd. But at the time, everyone loved Benny and his hat. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, there's no point in putting him in the comic relief now. You've just downed why we like him, and now you said it's wrong that we got him in it.
No, we're talking from an 80s point of view. Back in the 80s, I liked him. He was a character. When you think how many comedians on stage used to use him as their act, didn't they? You'd get like Les Dawson or someone. So you'd always have that Benny and the Mavis, and you'd have them characters. And Benny was a big Benny.
Because he was a big
hit.
Yeah. Some of them didn't even have to say anything. They just put the Benny hat on and stand there. And instantly you think, oh, he's doing an impression of Benny.
He was the beer Baracus of Crossroads. He was like, he was the beer Baracus
Good
of
analogy.
Crossroads.
I like it.
If it didn't have him in it, he was the character.
Yeah.
That's why we knew it was the Benny. Stacks know it's the Benny show, and that's the main person I knew.
It's true.
He definitely deserves to be in there as comic relief.
Big up Benny.
He made the show.
What's his surname? Did he have a surname?
Benny Hawkins.
Benny Hawkins. Big up Benny Hawkins.
Played by Paul Henry.
Big up. All right, let's move on to our next one. So our next one, we've mentioned this one before, but he was comic relief, blatant, and wasn't irritating, as we said before. So we just skim through this one, and that's Bobo from Clash of the Titans, man.
You gotta love Bobo.
The mechanical owl, man.
Gotta love.
He was a good character, man. Definitely the comic relief. Definitely the comic relief. There was nothing else comical going on, really.
But he helped out as well.
Yeah.
And he was a critical part of the story. Helped out 3 or 4 times, didn't he? I think the 3 blind witches when he grabbed that little eye thing they had and grabbed the head of Medusa when he dropped it in the water or whatever it was.
He's definitely someone that needs a big up. As we were saying, all these comic relief characters you had at the time, as you said earlier, Chris, about because R2 and 3PO smashed it, everyone wanted their own little versions, and Titans come out in like 80, 81. So it's really close. It's in between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
It was a couple of years after Star Wars. This has got a Star Wars connection as well. Have you heard the Star Wars connection with Bobo?
No, tell me.
That he I don't think it was Lucas that were against it, but there was somebody that was against them using the sound effects for Bobo because it was too R2D2 like. Because it was so close to the release not long after the 77 film, a few years later. But Harryhausen had to prove that he made and created Bobo before 1977, which he was able to do, and they let it run. And then the BBFC actually cleared it, and when they were reviewing the film, they said like the effects just on Bobo is enough entertainment to entertain pretty much anyone of any age, which got it its lower classification and what it
exactly it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Bobo did it. It came in between all the slashing and the sandals and the vultures and the beastly half men half beast things, and it fitted in and fitted in a nice bit of comic relief. So Bobo, big up you at number 3. Now
in there. So the
number
only
2
the only thing they said to put it on a downer.
Chris again.
So the only thing they said to put it on a downer was like, because it came out in that generation, the people who saw Star Wars and the people who saw Superman, they weren't going to think the effects were as good. But I think they got away with it, like you just said. I like the effects in it.
I liked it. It's Harryhausen.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
You know his style. If you like his style,
it goes
he's
down.
Never failed me.
Yeah, it goes down.
He's never failed me.
Yeah,
never failed. Are you finished now?
Yeah.
You sure? You sure?
Yeah.
Sure. You got all the time.
Give him 2 minutes.
Let's have a moment of silence.
We're nearly there. Nearly there. Let's go on to 2. I got work in the morning.
So at number 2, this character was the attraction of the film. Yes, the logo is one of the most iconic logos of the 80s in film.
Wicked logo.
But this character, like when you saw a trailer, a clip of it, I remember seeing it on. Remember Gloria Hunniford had a show on Sundays.
Yeah.
She had a kind of show, a chat
type show.
Yeah, this kind of show. Yeah. And she mentioned the film that was coming out the same weekend as Gremlins, and this is Ghostbusters we're talking about. And they always would show the clip when Peter Venkman was in the corridor and of the hotel, and something was at the other end, and he's on the radio with Dan Aykroyd's character, and they first see Slimer. Now, Slimer was like, the film was a comedy film, granted, but Slimer was that added bit to it that you remember it for. Even though it had,
a few ghosts in it.
You got ghosts, you got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but Slimer was the comic relief to break, like, you're not getting rid of him. He's still, he appears that he's the last thing you see in the whole film. Of all the ghosts, he escapes.
He's
you know what I mean?
He's still about.
He just worked. The character just worked. Based on James Belushi. Slimer was
he?
Because he was originally supposed to be in the Ghostbusters film, but unfortunately he died. So in respect of the actor, they created this Slimer character. And the mad eating, like, well, that we're putting that's from the film Animal House. When he's in Animal House, that's how he ate.
I like that.
So they took that style and put it into Slimer's character.
I like that scene. Yeah.
So spirit lives on in a green slimy ghost.
In the green Slimer. See, I like Slimer in, like you say, he was an attraction in the film. He was sort of cute looking, but still obviously a ghost. But they did bring him back in 2, and this year we've got Afterlife coming, and I think there's another appearance of him in that. But
of course, he's definitely going to be in that. Yeah, I reckon.
What I don't like though, what annoys me of him being a comic relief is how he acted in the cartoons. He was he was their mates. He was their sidekick.
Yeah.
He was
mad
He
annoying.
was the proper comic relief in that, and that annoyed me. Like I wanted him to still be the sort of bad friendly ghost, if you know what I mean. But still, he's a ghost. He's always going to be a ghost. He needs to get busted at the end of the day.
Yeah. I didn't really like the Ghostbusters cartoon anyway.
It weren't great. Sometimes it was just on, though, innit? You watch it, but
it was just on.
Then you would be annoyed that Slimer's helping them and Slimer's their mate, and he's like the mascot on the.
I like the cartoon, man. The cartoon was all right.
I wasn't a big fan of the cartoon.
Do you know who voiced Slimer in the films?
Who?
He's actually a director, Ivan Reitman.
The guy that directed Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 1, 2, Twins. What else? Kindergarten Cop. He's got a few under his belt anyway. Ivan Reitman. But yeah, he voiced it, and then they replaced him later on in 2 with Adam Ray, and then the cartoon was the Frank Welker, who we'd love to try and get on the show one day.
Slimer. You're in our top 10 now. Now it's to our number one comic relief character. Now, this podcast has had a lot of comic relief characters that are not, because everything else was arms and explosions. This person made you recognize that things were subtle, and this guy was the go-between between the humans and the Autobots. He was the guy that was down first, and he said, "This is how it's going on. I'll make the friends, and then I'll call you guys, and you can deal with the action. But I can still hold my own. But I'll do the introductions. I'm the bright yellow man, like Mr. Happy. And I've come to Earth looking like Mr. Happy, and that's Bumblebee from Transformers. He's our number one comic relief for this show. Now, Bumblebee was the guy that, as I said, he was a lovable character.
One of Optimus Prime's most trusted, followers, wasn't he, man? He sent him, like you say, sent him first. Go check it out. And in the cartoons, he didn't speak much. And that's why in the films they done the whole radio communication thing. Well, I thought it was a really good idea. Yeah, that was wicked.
But in the cartoon, he was just there to be friends with the kid. I can't remember the kid's name. The kid and his dad. You know the kid and his dad.
Can't remember his name as well. But yeah, he befriends the kid. That was his job. And and in the cartoon, you didn't see him do much fighting. It was all is left to Ironhide.
It's true.
Optimus Prime to do all that. And
he weren't the strongest. He weren't the bravest, but he had that sort of just luck, determination, and he was brave. Like, he got involved, but he weren't the strongest and the biggest.
Because you got to remember, you got to remember in the early cartoons before Transformers movie came out, there was no female, let's say, Transformers.
True.
You know what I mean? So because Bumblebee being smaller, beetle, and yellow, he was that kind of softener to the cartoon. Do you know what I mean? But I was saying at the beginning, still held his own. Do you know what I mean? Didn't tell jokes. That can't really fact of him telling jokes. It was just a softener,
Yeah.
Having said that, you see the new cartoons, the new Transformer cartoons. He in that is neither Autobot or Decepticon. He's
like a neutral Transformer.
Just a neutral Transformer.
It's a different.
Which I thought was really cool, actually. And it's like, no, you've been chosen. Well, okay. I like the angle they're going with it.
It's like the Netflix ones, is it? These Netflix
ones.
Okay.
And then when they get to Earth, he's the first one to Earth, and then the rest go, big.
Yeah. But I really did like the Bumblebee movie they did. They really captured
that was good.
That, man.
How I imagined him as a kid.
That.
That's Bumblebee. Do you know what I mean? And he is comical in that film. He's comical.
Yeah.
And it works. It ain't like, oh, Bumblebee, man, that's cack. Like even when he's throwing toilet roll, the girls out.
That's what I'm saying. It's the actions and the movements that are comical now, and the odd music through the cassette player, which is
exactly.
But it's the movements and the things he does. He's comical, man. He's wicked, man.
Yeah, definitely. Bumblebee, big up Bumblebee.
He was like one of the only ones that was mashed up, wasn't he? All of the Transformers were Chris, apart from he was battle damaged. I always remember he was damaged, like he would bits. So I just thought from that damage, that's where he lost his voice circuits.
No, the film changed that. The film done that to add to.
Having a little munch, he do.
I'm getting peckish now talking about Transformers.
What I mean? What are you eating? Biscuits.
Lotus biscuit.
Sorry, guys. You know what? Sorry, guys. You know what? I literally thought, because I'm so comfortable talking, I forgot we're recording a podcast. So I apologize. Everyone can hear me crunching biscuits. I literally thought I was just chatting with my mate.
I thought it was just ASMR or something.
Chat about Transformers.
Sorry, I can't eat all that biscuit. So that's Bumblebee. That's our That's our number one comic relief character for Comic Relief Characters Part 2, Old School. Look, there's loads more running around in our head. There's loads more we could have mentioned, but we just wanted to target.
Anyone who's got
tell us some. If you want to send us
what we
anyone's,
remember.
Just find us on all social media platforms, Old School Movements, and suggest podcast ideas, ideas for our past episodes, for our parts, because we can go on for ages in all our different other categories. So yeah, let us know what you want to hear. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed another episode of the Zany podcast, taking you back to nostalgic ride of the 80s, which is the Old School Movements. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks' time. So until then, enjoy yourselves. Peace.
Peace.